our meeting with the Land Use Office, we learned what we can and can't build here. Now we have to consider what we want to build. We have the luxury of looking to the past for inspiration, and we can look at the contemporary vernacular also. As we learned from the Land Use Office, we can't build a tiny house because they're not on a fixed foundation and they're too small. Rammed earth walls. They are beautiful. By mixing dirt with cement in forms while being compacted into random layers, the walls achieve great thermal mass. The issue to consider is, as I will be building in the dead of winter, the freezing temperatures would undermine the integrity of the slow-drying walls. Did somebody say earth ship? So what is an earth ship? An earth ship is a type of off-grid house that originated by necessity in the high desert outside of Taos, New Mexico. They work by using walls of thermal mass of recycled tires, bottles, and cans. They can be labor-intensive, even with free labor compacting dirt into the tires. They tend to cost the same per square foot as most typical houses and can take 2 years to collect and put together. By adding 3,000 feet in elevation to a colder climate, it freezes up the water harvesting system and wouldn't be appropriate for this location. A straw bale house. While I have only worked on one straw bale house, I remember the appropriate materials were hard to resource. The site was outside Roswell, New Mexico, where it is very hot and very dry, and most likely very appropriate. But it did seem very difficult to protect it from inclement weather. I only know of one straw bale house in the area. A great-looking house, but it has never been finished, so how it would perform is still unknown. As this location has much higher humidity levels, my main concern would be condensation, mold, and rot. Now, when I say building a cabin, I know you can't help but think log cabin. They're awesome. They're beautiful. They're solid. They're traditional. And by tradition, we will keep building them as they are aesthetically pleasing. Now, the Log Cabin Council reports that softwoods have an insulation R value of 1.47 per inch. That means in order to achieve the R value I'm looking for, the walls would have to be 30 inches thick. For me to fulfill the promise to my wife to build a very livable and comfortable house, that means it has to be a warm house. To conform with energy codes and an airtight house, a log cabin would be cost prohibitive. Well, why don't you just build the same thing that everyone else has and fit in with the neighborhood? That quintessential house style certainly makes a statement, and we have the opportunity to make a different statement. I like to have a sense of humor about that. I like a house that makes me smile when I drive up. And for my guests, a know it when you get their house. Truly, as I get older, I would like to avoid that awkward circumstance of going in the wrong house.
Man, I think I got the wrong house.
Now locally, there are many existing homes that are inspiring to my modern aesthetic. There's even a master plan development almost entirely of homes that share my interest. Let's explore another alternative option. Barnuminiums. Barnuminiums are a metal building turned into living quarters. The idea took off in Texas, and I explored this in depth 15 years ago. Its allure is a low-cost structure to skirt tax laws. Texas is without state income tax, so most of its funding is from high property taxes, and land it has a lot of. A barn or a shop is taxed at a much lower rate, so people started building a house inside. The tax man caught on to this and started looking for plumbing vent pipes, and then knew it was being used as a residence, and thus taxed the full rate. Barnuminiums and shipping containers share a lot of the same issues and attributes, except for the confinement issue. First you build a metal structure, then you build a house inside. By building it twice, you don't save any money, but you're still trapped in a steel can. Seems best to just do it right the first time. Now let's get to the ugly truth about building houses out of shipping containers. Let me first say that I once did design shipping containers for emergency relief temporary housing in Haiti for a magazine that dwells on modern design. With the abundance of containers from the relief effort, it made for a perfect solution to multi-residential housing. But conversely, it required no modification to the shipping containers. The reductive method to open up a space to make it livable seems like such a waste of material that you started off with. At some point, it becomes a diminishing return as you replace what you bought in the first place. Well, don't get me wrong, I love shipping containers. We use several of them for storage on almost every job site. Matter of fact, I even bought one myself. National Code states a minimum of 100 square feet per bedroom. That would be a 7 by 14 foot room plus a closet after you build out the walls and add insulation. When you consider that space with a full-size bed wouldn't comply with fire code egress standards, what would you do? What if you have to incorporate ADA compliance? Oh, I can hear you saying, just cut it open and put them together. Now, I can weld and I have a plasma cutter, sawzall, and grinders. But once you start cutting, you destroyed the asset of using a shipping container by diminishing its integrity. I could go off on a tangent about integrity, lawyers, cops, judges that lie. So living in a box, you're going to have windows. So choose where you want the windows and get to cutting. If you take it away, you have to replace it. If you cut open a container, you have to now reinforce the structure, most likely with steel, and steel is heavy and expensive. I vowed to make this a very comfortable, livable house for my wife. And frankly, a 7.5 foot ceiling is not what we call very livable. Shipping containers are made of metal. Metal being highly thermally conductive to heat and cold. For a space that is only 8 feet wide, I would want the highest R value of insulation that I could get. Just 8 feet wide? To live? They gave you more room than that in this old jail cell. Closed cell foam is the highest R value insulation that you can get. Also the most expensive, and considering the remote location, the logistics for on-site application would be very expensive. Building a home from shipping containers at first sounds very responsible to the environment, even romantic if you will. When I witness examples of spending more on reinforcement steel than what my entire house should cost to build, it doesn't sound so responsible or romantic. Even with an unlimited budget, it's not responsible. When you consider all the replacement and waste and extra man hours that go into building a container house, it seems to be self-defeating. Like driving a Prius to reduce air pollution, but you smoke cigarettes as you drive down the road. Yeah. Watch for it. I am reminded of the stone soup story you heard as a kid, where they add everything else and take out what they started with for the final product. To me, that sounds like a shipping container house. Now let's shut the door on shipping containers as a viable option for a livable, comfortable living environment.